Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Welcome to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this evening. We're waiting on everybody to get in. We got quite a few people that's going to be with us. The men that's going to be with us tonight. We got what we call Four Square Conversation. And I'm high elephant elated, high and happy, and porcupine proud to bring this to you tonight. We have with us, I think we have with us already. We have Sheed. Sheed, are you with us?
Yes, sir. What up, though?
What's up, man? Look here, and look here. I know. Go ahead, on get it out your system, brother. Go ahead, get it. I know what you got. I know you got something for me. Go ahead, get it out your system.
No, I don't have anything for you. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Cornelius said he texted you yesterday about my Steelers. He said he texted you when my Steelers went down yesterday. He said she gonna get you. So go ahead on get it out your system about them Steelers. I got my cup right here though.
Oh, the Steelers. Oh, they lost? I didn't even notice. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we let it get away from us yesterday, man. The Washington no name team beat us.
Oh, wow. Didn't we beat them?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the same thing I heard from Cornelius, man. Yes, yeah. Y'all beat them, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, we suck for real. So I'm in no position to tease anybody or any of that, man. With my team being where my team is and where we have been for forever.
Okay.
So,
okay.
You don't get too much of the thing I tease you about is how you flip from team to team. But other than that,
man, I don't know. Man, I've been with the Steelers since the 70s, man. Since the 70s, I've been with the Steelers.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Hey, we got four square conversation we're gonna have tonight, and you know what I'm gonna do for you? I got four topics here laid out. But Sheed, I'm gonna do something a little different tonight. Is there a topic that you would like to discuss?
You gonna do something different, like do all four topics? Is that would be different?
Well, I want to know: is there something in particular that you would like to talk about tonight?
I'm not sure, man. I don't have anything on my heart right now. Right, okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just happy to be home. Working hard all day and all week, and it's real good. I had one of those days where I got to be home early, so
good deal.
I'm in a good mood. Okay. So whatever you want to talk about, man, I'm all for it.
Let's make it happen. But before we go another step further, got to say good morning. Oh, good morning, Lord. When I look across the screen, I see Leonard on there. A lot of times it's the morning glow. But good evening, sir. How you doing, Leonard?
Good morning. I mean, good evening. What's up, Raheem and Rashid?
Yes, sir.
What up, though, Leonard?
What's up, bro?
Man, look here. See, it rubbed right off on you, didn't it?
Hey, man, my computer is acting up, man. I hit a wrong button or something, man, and I'm waiting for it to get right. So hopefully I'll be on the screen shortly. But until then, I'll just be hearing my audio.
There you go. Well, let's go in with the first square, man. Because like I said before we know it, it'll be 8:30, and we'll be going to the next one. So while everybody is coming in, I want to go ahead and get everybody. And the phone lines are open: 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. So if you care to call in, be a part of the conversation, you're more than happy. You're more than welcome to call in and be a part of the conversation. We'd love to have you. Leonard.
Yes, sir.
The first square is it's gonna be a light. I'm thinking it's gonna be a light night tonight. I'm thinking it's gonna be
okay.
I'm saying that now, but we never know. But the first square is Mama taught me. And what would you say to that?
Know who you are and whose you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I remember my mother always saying to me every day that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you were going out for the night or going, to hang out, she would always say, remember who you are and whose you are. And also never say what you won't do.
Okay.
Those were the two things I remember the most.
Never say what you won't do.
Right.
Might come and tap you on your shoulder.
And it was something, that came back around. I think we had discussed it before. And it was, I was very dead set on, and I'm pretty much like that now, but I didn't want to be involved with women who had children.
Yeah.
And my mother used to always say never, because you never know who you fall in love with.
Exactly.
So now I understand more, how it happens. It's very much a part of our culture and how people make families work, I would say.
That's good. That's good. Sheed, and we got another caller. We're gonna come to you in just 1 second. So Sheed, I want to come to you and ask you the same question. Mama taught me. Sheed, you take it wherever you want to go with it.
Mama taught me strength.
Wow.
I can't give you a quote of what she said that resonated with me, but I can give you an image of what she did.
Yes.
That resonated with me. She was a single mom, and I watched how she raised 4 boys on her own until she got married. And so my stepdad, who passed last year, God bless him, but he came and really did a masterful job of stepping in and being that father figure for the Wild Bunch is what they called us. But my mother held it down, man, and that first marriage really took a lot out of her. She had to recover. She was pretty much at her wit's end, but she never allowed us to see her down. And we would have to hear the stories about it later. But she got on her feet, man. Got into a apprenticeship program for an electrician. Got a gig into city of Detroit, and the rest is history.
Wow.
She wound up getting a real good job, had a career, wound up retiring, and she made it happen for us, man. Even though my father left us, she picked up the pieces, and made sure that we were going to be raised right. So all 4 of us are successful now, and I give a lot of kudos to that woman of God.
Yes.
Even though she wasn't a woman of God back then, I think in her latter years, I think she's coming to know the Lord. But up until that point, man, she was just grinding, man, and I really respect her grind, and that's just what I saw. Not so much what I heard, but what I saw from her. She inspired me. When my father and in this case, when my father forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. But she makes a great case for single moms who step up and try their best to fill that void to the best of their ability that fathers who leave, absent fathers, leave behind. So praise God for her.
Exactly. And it's amazing, man. It's amazing how much strength these women have, man, to step in and do the things that they do, man. And a lot of times, it's really not by choice. They would rather have the family together, but because the situation is as it is, they step in the gap, man, and they do so much, man, so much for these families and keep families together. I too came from a single family home, so I know exactly what it is you're saying. We got another caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hold on.
This is Miss Grace. I'm calling from Eustis, Florida.
Hey, Miss Grace, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing well. Good to have you back, sister. Definitely good to have you back with us. We're asking the question. Mama taught me. Miss Grace, what did your mom teach you?
My mother taught me to think and to stand up for myself and to figure out a way to do whatever it is I needed to do. Because I could make it if I did that, if I just thought about it. And I wouldn't let it go. If this is what I want to do, then you find a way to do it. Mm-hmm. And don't let anybody take that away from you, and just go with it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And so, in a roundabout way, she taught you the strength to continue.
She did. Mm-hmm. She did, exactly. You see, I am a very strong person. Mm-hmm. We're all strong. There were 4 of us, and we're all strong. We're all educated. Mm-hmm. And my parents did a good job of raising us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Good deal. Good deal. Leonard, talk to me, brother. Mama taught me. Tell me. Let's go deep. Let's talk, Leonard, about the strength that a lot of times mothers have to have. They have to have it, or otherwise the family will fall apart.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing about my mother is she used to tell this story because my father died. Mm-hmm. And she mentioned a story to us about right after he passed. She had a vision that she was swinging on the porch. We had a swing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she remembered everything just being so peaceful and quiet. Mm-hmm. Mm. And that the Lord, because she didn't know what to do. She had 3 kids. Mm-hmm. She did not have no job. And her husband had died. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think she said in the story to go, she said the Lord gave her a choice. Mm-hmm. You can stay here with me, or you can go back. Mm-hmm. And she chose to come back.
Yes.
And so it was never a give up thing. It wasn't never nothing like that with us. We never had excuses. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I believe I heard Miss Grace saying, you got to keep going. Yeah. You got to be strong. What else? Mm-hmm. What's the opposite of that? Weak. Yeah. You're not going to be weak, are you? And so all of us are very resilient that way. Mm-hmm. And my mother, she said she got 3 kids and they got 3 different personalities. But they will come together to take care of you, handle you.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we all are very different. My brother took the roughest route. He was the youngest. Mm-hmm. But we all knew right from wrong, and we never made any excuses for it. If you was being the devil and you was cutting up, then that's what it was. It wasn't nobody else's fault. She'd never get on you about, well, such and no, it's about you and what you did. She don't care what nobody else doing. You my child.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it didn't matter what the next door people was doing or the people at the school was doing.
Yeah.
Because we were taught at home how to behave.
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Minister Neil, how you doing, sir?
Neil be on that TV. Look,
he looking at TV over there.
He watching that game. Look, he probably looking at the game.
Yeah,
is the game on yet?
Yep, that's exactly what he's looking at. Yeah, I promise you. But we got 4 square conversation night. We got 4 square conversation, and our first square, and I want you to take it where you want to take it to, Minister Neil. Mama taught me. Mama taught me. Take it from there.
Oh, that's broad, but it's something it's a little personal as well. Mm-hmm. I was listening to what Leonard was saying. This is so true.
I can't understand what he's saying.
Yeah, your phone is real low. Your phone is real low, brother. Your phone is real low.
Is it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me change this. Come back to me.
Okay. Rashid, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, come on, brother. Let's take this thing and let's talk about the strength, because you actually brought this to the table about the strength that mothers have to have. So let's talk a little. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about that strength, because they had to wear so many hats, brother. Had to wear so many hats. So let's talk about that for a second. Let me hear your heart.
Well, my heart is, I thank God for the women who stepped up.
Yes.
And showed that strength. You mentioned they had to wear so many hats. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be great if they just wore the hat that was designed for them to wear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because think about it, if they had all of that in them to wear all of those hats, operating out of class, if you will. That's something that I get from my wife's job. When they get out of class promotions, I think that's what it's called. When you're promoted and you're taking on someone else's job, you have to leave your job to do someone else's job, maybe because they're on sick leave or something like that. And so you're really doing double duty. Just imagine the energy and the strength that they displayed when they're working out of class. If they could be relieved from those extra duties that they were never designed to do.
Come on.
And those duties were actually performed by the men that were designed to do those duties.
Yes.
And that strong, resilient woman can be free to strictly focus on what she was called to do.
Wow.
Do you know how powerful of a unit that would be? You know how we would be so far ahead of where we are right now. I'm just looking at it. We're on Real Men Being Men. And it seems like every person that we talk to has an experience of being raised with a single mom. Oh, okay, men. Now, is no indictment. I'm not condemning or anything like that, but I want to encourage brothers, man. If we could just step up and be the fathers that God called us to be, and stop forcing the woman to try to figure that thing out and play two roles. If we could play our role and let her play the role she was designed to play, oh my God, how awesome.
Yes, sir.
These families would be. I mean, Mama raised us and we became successful. Can you imagine how wildly successful we would be if Mama could have given her all to just what she's supposed to do?
Yes.
Because the father is doing what he's supposed to do. I'm just looking at that. That sounds like a utopian type of society, but we could be there. All it takes is for the man to step up and do what he's supposed to do. Brothers, we got to step up and be fathers. We got to be what God called us to be, because that strength that woman has is supposed to be used in other areas, man.
That's right.
A woman ain't supposed to be overexerting herself to try to be a dad.
Yes, exactly.
God, let that strength be utilized where it was designed to be utilized, and watch how anointed and how blessed that situation would be.
Good deal. Good deal. Absolutely.
We wearing her out. We wearing that woman out of class.
That's right.
And we recognize that it's wrong. But man, if the man was doing that, man, look, wow, can you imagine how crazy that would be? Anyway, that's just what
Can I please make a comment?
I'm thinking about the brother.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Grace, go ahead.
Today we were talking about the Shunammite woman and her husband. They didn't have children. She was at home where she was supposed to be. Just as the young man just said. She saw Elijah walking, and she told her husband, "Why don't we build a little room on the side of the house so that when he comes by, he can rest?" If she hadn't been home, she wouldn't have seen him. But further, if the Lord had not blessed her through Elijah to get the son, because he was the one who prophesied she was going to have a son the next year this time. You see what I'm saying? If she had been working, she wouldn't have seen him when he passed. But even though she lost the son, she told the servant to please, let's just go back to the source. This is the man who told me I was going to have a son, but now the boy is dead. I don't have no son. The husband is still in the field working. He doesn't even know the boy is dead.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? She didn't go to tell her husband. She went to the source. She got her son back because she was where she was supposed to be. Do you understand?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Absolutely.
She was home where she was supposed to be. Yeah, it makes sense.
There's a blessing there's a blessing in being where you're supposed to be.
Yes,
there's a blessing in doing what you're supposed to do.
Yes, it is too.
And that goes for goes for men and women. Just not in the flip side, there's a curse in being out of position.
That's
I
true.
mean, think about King David when he was supposed to be at war, but he was at home chilling. And you see what happened, what took place then, and and then all of think of the snowball effect that had. You know, he wound up getting this man's woman pregnant, and he wound up getting him killed, and I mean, it's so much that happened behind one
domino
man
effect. Domino effect.
The domino effect. One man being out of position. But just imagine if we could be in position.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Doing what God called us to do.
That's good. That's good. Minister Neil, what's on?
And Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Raheem, think about all of the brothers in our community that are out of position, man.
Wow.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking,
in
brother.
Light
it's heartbreaking.
David in that one situation. Just imagine David in that one situation and how horrible that wound up being, and the domino effect that had with one man being out of position one time.
Right. That's right.
Imagine that we have an entire community, several communities of men by the thousands, by the multitude that are out of position.
Yeah.
That's right.
Imagine the repercussions of that. And then we wonder why we're in the position that we're in.
Absolutely. Let me go to Minister Neil. Minister Neil, let's check your sound volume, brother. What do you say to this? What's on your heart?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go, man. You hit a home run. You hit a home run. Yes, sir.
I had to change my buds, man. It was going out.
What do you say to that, man? And we're talking about and the topic is Mama Taught Me. The first square is Mama Taught Me, but right now we're actually talking about how strong these women had to be in order to maintain and carry the family. And they brought something very, very powerful to the day. What if men was in place and they could concentrate on what they're supposed to do as women? How much would that have helped the family? What do you say to that, Minister Neil?
I mean, it just would have added to the strength of the family, of the black family as well. And that's a very powerful point, because you got to think about it from that perspective. So we are, I mean, how God has designed the family structure to be male and female.
Yeah.
He does. I'm not going to really go through all that other junk that they're trying to trick us with. But what I'm saying is that we have to understand is that how God designed it and how He designed it. But but the same token, I know my mother, she raised 4 boys on herself. But I'm not going to say by herself, because I thank God for my grandfather.
Yes.
He was there. I mean, he was my ram in the bush, I want to say. He kicked in where my father didn't kick in. So, so I can't really. It wasn't a traditional 2-parent home, but it was a 2-parent home.
Yeah.
He was always the muscle. Is what we would say.
So when he got out of line, he.
Oh yeah. It wasn't no negotiation when it came. It wasn't no wait a minute, let me explain. It was no, you better get smoked. You better get his hind parts tore up.
Exactly.
All you heard was that belt buckle rattling. And that's it wasn't a scare tactic. It was a discipline tactic.
Yeah.
It kept us out a lot of things younger in life, but some of the decisions that we made once we got older was on us. It wasn't on them, because they guided us and they put us in the right direction. We got to think. I remember when my grandma, I was telling somebody, I said, a lot of these black churches down here in the South were built on collard greens and chitlin dinners, because I just see my grandmother actually cooking chitlins and fried chicken and collard greens and things of that nature. I hit a place in that building. So they've always been the cornerstone of the black community in so many ways. So when we talk about just from a family's perspective, that's a family's perspective as well that you are looking at from, even from the church family. They have had a powerful role in that. So again, it's just not just in the immediate family, It's in the whole entire community. And I salute these sisters out here who are still on the front line. You know, my mother is 73, almost 74 years old. She'll be 74 in July. God's willing.
Yes, sir.
And you sit here and you think that she's still out here registering people to vote. You know, so I think that's an awesome thing. So again, you know, I salute her, and I salute anybody who's on the front line and saying, "Hey, I'm still here. I'm for the cause of the advancement of Black folk," and that's what we have to look at. So.
Exactly. Let me go to Cornelius. Cornelius, you there?
Yes, sir. Bless you, man.
Hey, bless you as well, brother. We're talking about Mama taught me. Mama taught me. Cornelius, what would you say? What would you say to that?
You know, as I've been listening to a couple of things, and I was hearing shit going in, and Sister Mother brought up a powerful point, and listening to Mr. Neal, different things, man. It's funny. My bishop just got through preaching Sunday on Bishop Bell preached on being in position to receive the blessing. He just preached on that Sunday, man. It was so powerful. So that tells me I know that we in the Holy Ghost, man. The word is established by 2 to 3 witnesses.
Yes, sir.
So in saying that too, I got a couple of points on this as well, and I'm glad, Raheem, you coming around to the message on honoring women, because I'm seeing, and I'm observing what's happening in our government today, and how Biden is putting together this team, and a lot of them is women.
Yes. And
I'm so happy with Kamala Harris and as the vice president. I was listening to a video with Barack Obama and Steph Curry talking, and how they was honoring their wives, and Steph Curry was saying something about how his wife will always, before he go out, she would give him something that he ain't thought about, and it helps him so much. And so Steph Curry asked Barack Obama, and what about what did First Lady would give to you? And he said, is one thing she said to me, she will always know how to make me laugh when things are so serious. And that helps me better. And she told him about, she basically talked about being at home during dinner time, because it helps them. He said that will help him be a better president, because she balanced him. She made him stay, be at home at 6:30 for dinner, because she said she didn't want her kids wondering where daddy at and different things. He said he would go back to the office, but he had to be at home in position, teach his kids the lesson and different things. So he said that helped him be a good, better president, because he talked about how most families in America deal with that. So it helps them sympathize with what's going on in America. So in saying all that, and even dealing with my different women, and I'm respecting what's happening in the government, women do need to be honored. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to go one more quick thing I want to say too. I don't want to be too long. When she brought up David. Here's a part that I want to bring up with David. Abigail. When Abigail saved her husband from getting murdered because his arrogant, prideful self, David was going to take him out. But she humbled herself to the king and told him, look, and saved him. And that's what it takes for women, because we get so out of position as men. We've been so arrogant, so prideful, that it takes a woman to save us from ourselves.
That's good.
And that's why I believe Biden, by putting this woman on this group with all different types of nationalities and different things like that, he's putting together a compassionate team of women, because that's what it's going to take to save America today from ourselves, with different nationalities and groups to help this country. Good and that's deal. Just my take, man.
Good deal. Rico, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
Man, good evening. How's everybody doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. We're talking about Mama Taught Me. Mama Taught Me. What do you say to that?
Man, you sort of know my situation. I really can't address that. Well, I can address it from my point of view. My mom and daddy got married at a real young age. I think when they got married, she was 17. She had me right after she turned 17. Well, right after she turned 18. And by the time I was 4, they were divorced. So I saw the struggles and the trials and tribulations of a young 21-year-old, very pretty, much desired young woman. So I saw a lot. You know what I'm saying? I saw a lot. I didn't gain a whole lot. I went through a lot. I didn't gain a lot. So I gotta go back and say my grandmama taught me.
Okay, good.
So that's who picked up the slack. So my grandmama taught me to have thick skin. Touchdown. My grandmama told me to have thick skin. My grandmama taught me to have thick skin and compassion. You know, and she taught me resilience. She taught me to have compassion and really to have drive. You know, she educated me.
Yeah.
She really educated me, because if it wouldn't have been for her, I wouldn't have had a lot of information on how things were for people that came before me. You know, she gave me a lot of home training.
Yeah.
Very much home training. And so you know, I give her a lot of credit, man. I mean, she did everything that a man and a woman was supposed to do as my grandmother. At her old age, and she couldn't keep up with me, but she did the best that she could do. But she showed me how to be a nurturer. She told me how to be compassionate towards other people, you know, and at the same time, she, you know, taught me to just go ahead and look over something.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, and I mean, this is so much I can't really just even explain really what she showed me. But she was my all and my everything. If it weren't for her, man, I would have been in trouble. But she was my confidant.
Yes, sir.
You know, she taught me how to be right and how to do right by others. You know, treat people the way I wanted to be treated. She taught me how to think. Sat down and played Uno and Chinese checkers with me. Games that made me use my comprehensive skills.
Yeah.
Taught me how to color inside the lines. How to be me. You know what I'm saying? How to just pay attention to details. So many different things that, man, they were crucial to me having the mind that I have now. The mind of research and go and learn for myself. And at the same time, she wasn't a church going person, even though she went to church and respected God and loved God. She taught me that I could do the same thing. Because I'm gonna tell you something. You shouldn't have to be told the difference from right and wrong.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Man, anybody else have anything before we move on to our next square? Leonard, I see you up there, Leonard.
I just wanted to say my mother.
No, go ahead, Miss Grace.
I was just going to say that I implied, but I did not completely say. My mother taught me to be independent. That I use that. You link all those things. You think, you're independent, you stand up for yourself, you figure out a way to do anything.
Exactly.
That's simple.
Good deal. Now we're going to go to our second square. And this one is a little different. Miss Grace, this right here might be a stretch for you. I don't know, but you let me know, okay? We're talking about this dude about to run the ball all the way back. We're talking about
if y'all gonna watch the game, will be on the radio.
That choked me there, boy. That choked me.
Woo. Exactly.
I didn't hear you say it. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, we're going to go into our second square, and the second square is this right here. And Rico, we're gonna start it off with you. Sports is it's one thing that can unite so many people and bring so many people together. I've seen so many movies about how sports Titans and all these different movies where they had to come together and they had to fight against different issues that they had to deal with. But the reality of the situation, and I'm gonna base a part of it on my Steelers. Is there racism? Is there racism in sports? Is there and one of the reasons why I say I'm gonna base some of it on my Steelers, because Tomlin went 10-0, I think 11-0. I think we made it to 11-0, and we didn't get the shine that Belichick got when he did that, when he went undefeated and he won all those games back. Tomlin didn't get half the shine, didn't get talked about it at half as much, and so that's just one issue. I've heard other stories about people that was in professional sports. And I'm asking the question: is there racism, Rico, in sports?
Yes. Look at for instance, Lamar Jackson. They said that he wasn't gonna make it as a quarterback. They every time you turn around, they designate a black quarterback as a run pass, a run oriented. He should be an athlete. Maybe they're gonna switch him to defense. They never just, give him his accolades for being talented. So Lamar Jackson had to prove himself. But then you look at people like I'm trying to think of the guy that got caught eating the hot, Mark Sanchez. You think all of these people, man, that came out of high school and came out of college, they didn't win a national championship, they didn't win a Heisman, they got all the accolades, and then still got into the NFL, high draft picks, never win a championship, or sometimes maybe did win a championship, and then flop. The biggest flops in the history of the NFL have been white quarterbacks. But then you have so many black quarterbacks that didn't even have an opportunity. Look at Charlie Ward. Didn't even get ahead to go ahead and go straight to the NBA.
Yeah.
So it's been going on. Look at Kaepernick. Right now, you got so many garbage quarterbacks. The Denver just had to find a receiver to play quarterback. They didn't even sign Kaepernick. They're still mad at him about him kneeling for the flag and during the national. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
So it's very obvious that racism is there, but I want to throw a little twist in there with that sports bringing unity. It brings separation too. It can be a very big divider. I talk sometimes about the Alabama-Auburn game down here, man. Sometimes that game gets contentious and people have been killed. You know what I'm saying? They get out of hand over sports, over picking your team, but it really is a trickle effect of people bragging and going against each other, and then they get out of hand, and you know how that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think nothing unites more than music, though. Nothing unites more than music, besides maybe religion. Well, I would say religion, but you got people fighting between religions.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, is there racism in sports?
Yes. I'm a critical race theorist. Okay, that's the writing, that's the work that I've done. It is in everything. It is in everything American for sure. And a lot of this study came from a legal framework. And it was based on the fact when race became codified within the law. And how we've had slavery, Jim Crow, you name it, where law was actually structured around race. Didn't matter what you had, didn't matter where you lived, who you were, whether you preached or nothing.
Yeah.
It was about the color of your skin. And so that has permeated every sector of American society, even in your church. So race is an issue that America has to deal with. The only way you really dismantle what racism has done is you removed the racists that are in power. That's the only way it's done. And then you create laws that punish racism. So everyone knows it is not acceptable. But it's above and beyond getting somebody to say this or say that. That's not really an issue. The issue was when people said that black people could not be quarterbacks because they weren't smart enough.
Yeah.
That's an issue because it prevented blacks from playing that position. Now, whether a commentator says something that you like or not, that could be their style. Because we have people who have said things that are not necessarily untrue, but they were punished because they appeared racist. If you say a black man is more athletic than anybody else,
that's one of the things that got Jimmy the Greek back in so much trouble. Yeah,
exactly.
That's right.
So now it's not as if people are trying, when you hear other commentators say this, that, or the other, it's not that they're trying to slight the player. It's just that they may be pointing to what that player is best at. See, you just black. You ain't had nothing to do with that. Don't take no talent to be black. But it'll take talent to run that 4.0. That's talent. Okay, it takes talent to jump from half court down there and dunk the ball. But because black people have internalized racism, they almost see these things as racist as well. So even when someone extends you a compliment, it can still be racist. See, the white man don't see it as being ill when he says that the black man is running faster than the white man. It's an observation. It's different when he says something like, wow, that's how we bred them.
Wow. Yeah, very, very.
See, that's racist. So we have to learn not to be so in our feelings. Like, say, for instance, when we read in the Bible, and Sister Grace was just saying, that Shulamite woman, you could exchange Shulamite with black.
Yeah.
She was a Shulamite. That's who she was. It's not racist to call her that or anything else. That's who she was. She was a Shulamite woman. And when you look into that more, you see that those people were black. So we have to also understand that racism is here. It's not something you whine about, but you have to stop it. Especially where it's used as power. I'm okay with the laughing and the joking and whatever. But when it's codified and used as power against another person.
Exactly.
That's the problem with racism.
Minister Neil, what's on your heart, brother? Is there racism in sports?
Sure. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, we can't outrun it. It's something that's embedded into the fabric of America. And I say that to you because you got to think about how America has been formed and how she's acted over the multiple centuries that she's been in existence. So yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, because I was listening to Rico speak about Charlie Ward. It's funny because Charlie and I had we co-op and we did over the summer, we actually had a class together. And it was funny when he was saying about they didn't draft him, but he opted out the draft because what happened, Dennis Green actually asked him, he wanted to draft him as in Minnesota. And he was going to draft him, but Charlie said that he couldn't make a decision because he wanted to do DR. He wanted to do a DR. He wanted to play both sports. And he opted to play basketball because he knows a little bit. He had, he can make a little bit more money. Those contracts are a little bit more lucrative. But that's a backstory. People don't even know that even happened. Because I'll never forget. He was sitting in there and he was. I overheard him talking to somebody. And he was like, "I have a trial. I got a trial. I'm going to the combine." I thought you were talking about the football combine. Wow. He went to the basketball combine. He didn't even go to the football combine. And so I mean that's why I say what Leonard is saying is true.
Everybody mutual line. We have the background noise.
A lot of people wanted to draft him, but he wouldn't make a decision if he just wanted to just play quarterback. But at the same token, let me say this as well, is that when it comes to opportunities, they have a racial tone to it, and I'm gonna say that too. That's the reason why the NFL had to institute the Aunt Rudy rule, because he said that enough minorities did not get opportunities to even be interviewed for these jobs. And those are the things that happened as well. So some things had to be instituted into the NFL, because if not, they would have never even. You got to think, Mike Tomlin was, when he got the job at Pittsburgh, he was referred by Tony Dungy.
By who?
He was referred by Tony Dungy because Tony Dungy had to turn him on. They didn't even know anything about Mike Tomlin. They knew nothing about him. He would have never got the job. It's just that the Rudy family loved Tony Dungy so much. Yeah, they interviewed him. They said by him having that interview, he had an exceptional interview. But to say that but the thing I'm saying is because you got to think, they're going to get a college coach. I tell you like this here. It's something Dion made a comment to when he took John Jackson State. He made a very interesting comment. He said, how many coaches from the HBCU have actually got interviews by the NFL?
Not a lot, if any.
Exactly. So it's racist. It's regardless of what we say, racism is there because they're in control to say you can come and go in that manner. But then they'll come back and say, oh no, we're not racist because we got this person. You know, it's almost like somebody telling you, oh, I have black friends, I'm not racist.
Yeah.
Oh, right away you're gonna be like, oh, okay, you got to count how many friends you got. And I'm like, okay, right, gotcha.
Good deal.
Right.
Let me go to I think our brother Pete is here. Pete, you there?
Greetings, family. How we doing?
Hey, doing good. Yourself?
Doing well by the grace of God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're asking the question: is there racism in sports? Is there racism in sports? Pete, what do you say to that?
Yes, I would say that there is racism in sports. It can vary. When we look at it from a global standpoint, I'm more than positive you will encounter different levels of racism just as a player. But like someone was just saying, when you're talking about the economics and the ownership and where the real money is, see the control, and on that level, it may be even more prevalent and hidden at the same time. But with the players making mass amounts of money and the money from the advertisements and you know what they call it, you know what I'm trying to say, when they get the deals for the product,
the endorsements.
I'm sorry, yes. It can bleed out into more so classism. Racism is still there, but then it's moving for class as well. You're an elevated class, so you get better treatment. You have more access. You live at a different standard. Some of the, you know, you have a regular toilet, they have a bidet. You know, it's so it gets into class as well, class warfare. You're in a different class, so the racism can be masked and hidden and overt a lot more as well at the same time. But definitely, racism exists in sports. Yes, sir.
Good deal. Good deal. Miss Grace, what do you say to that? Is there racism in sports? Miss Grace, are you there?
I am here, but I had muted as you asked us.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I couldn't respond as quickly. I had to unmute my phone.
Yes, ma'am.
But there is racism in sports. That's what happened to Poland last year. It was all right for the president to call the NBA and the NFL players bad names. But when he decides he's going to take a stand against this, then he got blacklisted. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I understand he practices every day. That's very good. Issue is, it has to do with who he is, not his ability, but who he is. You understand what I'm saying? It was all right for Jane Fonda to burn the American flag and stomp on it in Europe. She's back on top. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There's a double standard. There's a double standard.
Exactly. So, this is what we have to deal with. But by the same token, we have to stand and say no. If it means I go down, fine, but I will not be treated this way.
Exactly.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
People think we are free. No, we're not free. We have better privileges. Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
We are not free because there are certain things that we cannot do. Ask Colin. You see what I'm saying? Okay, that's what happened to Ali. But because he brought back boxing, that was a dying sport, back to life, and he had the Muslims behind him, the conglomerate, the continuity, the unity. That's how he made it back.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So there is racism in sports, and yet this ironically it wouldn't be where it is without us.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm
Absolutely. Saying? Come on now. You said a mouthful. That yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead. She coming to you, brother. What do you say to that, man? Is there racism in sports?
Man, intrinsically, racism is ingrained within the fabric of our society.
Wow.
America was birthed. Mm-hmm. America was birthed, and America was founded. America was built. Mm-hmm. It was built upon racism.
Mm-hmm. I know that's so right.
We can't get away from it until we have a true healing. We need to come to God and be healed from the inside out, because if we don't, then all we'll continue to do is be exposed. Mm-hmm. The racism, we've done a masterful job of covering it up. We know how to look the part a lot of times. Mm-hmm. But when the junk hits the fan,
come on,
racism always leaks out, man. Yep. It always leaks out. And we had a president in office the last 4 years that pushed that racism out.
Yes, he
did. Tough.
Yes, he did.
And they came out of the woodworks. Mm-hmm. And sports is no exception. Matter of fact, you got the good old boys network, the NFL, which is the most popular sport in America. Mm-hmm. This football that we love so much.
Yeah.
Man, it's the most racist organization that I can think of.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and it keeps showing itself over and over again, man. It's almost blatant how racist the NFL is. Let me give you an example.
Talk to me.
One team in particular, your Detroit Lions. Mm-hmm. Well, my Detroit Lions. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. They had a coach.
Mute your line, Miss Grace.
4 seasons here. Mm-hmm. They had a coach that spent 4 seasons here.
Uh-huh.
Jim Caldwell. First black coach that I ever knew about. He may be the first black coach that the Lions have ever had. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He was one of the most successful coaches, certainly the most successful coach that I've ever seen from the Lions. Mm-hmm. This guy, the Lions is a putrid organization. This team is probably the worst organization in sports. Mm-hmm. Let's just be real about it.
Yeah.
They've only won 1 playoff game since 1957. I mean, let's just put it all out on the table here. But in the midst of that, this guy, Jim Caldwell, comes in. He coached 4 seasons, and he amassed a 36-28 mark. Mm-hmm. He had a winning record.
Yeah, yeah.
Including two playoff appearances. Mm-hmm. But let's look at his successor. Now, first of all, he got fired after he went 9-7, which did not happen a lot in Detroit, but it was happening on a regular basis under Jim Caldwell. Mm-hmm. But they thought that 9-7 wasn't good enough. So they hired this clown, Matt Patricia, who comes in and just over 2 seasons, his record is 10, 25, and 1. Now let's compare 36 and 28 and 2 playoff appearances to 10, 25, and 1. And playoffs, come on, we can't even talk playoffs with a record like that. But he was allowed an opportunity. They gave him an extension before they fired him. They gave him they loved this guy. Mm-hmm. But Jim Caldwell got shown the door. Then Miss Gracie talked about Colin Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. That situation was blatant.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick made it very clear what he was protesting. Mm-hmm. But somehow the narrative got switched.
Yeah.
That he was protesting the flag, or he was protesting the military. And now this became a thing about patriotism. But he was protesting, he was clear that he was protesting police brutality.
Exactly.
Of Black Americans, of African Americans. And how can you be against that? But they found a way. They twisted it. They flipped it to find a way. So this disdain towards Colin Kaepernick is all we need. Is Exhibit A, and the only exhibit we really need to prove how racist sports are in America. Sports is a microcosm of America itself, because America is racist.
Yes.
So of course, American sports will be.
Absolutely, has no choice. Let's go to Cornelius. Cornelius, what do you say to that, man? Is there racism in sports?
Oh man, I got a lot to say on this. I'm not going to try to be long, but yes, it is first and foremost to answer your question. Now, but I'm gonna go. Racism been around since the fall of man. At the end of the day, that's the curse of. That's one of the curses of our society. Is racism, and unfortunately, it has brought disunity in our society. Unfortunately, I've seen it throughout my life. I didn't even like back in the day when they called the Washington Redskins, because they felt so racist, and the the Native community felt so bad, felt against that. They dropped their name. Okay, so I rooted on, and I did not like the Redskins at all, Washington, but I rooted on Doug Williams. I wanted to see him win.
Yes.
The first Black quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. And when it came down to Tony Dungy for the Indianapolis Colts, I rooted for him. Yeah. Because I wanted to see him win. The first Black coach to ever win it. Unfortunately, he beat a Black coach. For that, him and Love, that was the first time you got a tandem of Black coaches in the Super Bowl for the Chicago Bears. Exactly. And in that, with the NBA, I listen to First Take a lot. I like Stephen A. Smith. A lot of people may not, but I like Stephen A. Smith because he keeps it real on a lot of things, and he brings it to her, and he speaks on a lot of this stuff. And I realized that a law that he brought up that they haven't even passed, and I think somebody said it earlier, is the lynching law. It's been on the government table for a while, and they still haven't passed that law at all for lynching. And these are the things that we deal with even within our government, because they know people still gonna be out here trying to do that stuff, lynching, and they don't, and they allow this guy to walk around, young Black white guy walk around with an AK-47, shoot some people, kill them, and then he puts his hands up in front of the cops. And then you got this guy that going to a church and kill all these people, and the police end up taking him to a restaurant to feed him. Yeah. You know, we got all this racism is just, it's embedded into our society because it's the curse of it's one of our curses. Exactly. So what can we do about it? What can we do? We pray, which we do. And some people say, well, you could pray, it still don't change and all this stuff. Okay, so now let's go to the courts. Like I'm gonna bring up this little conversation I'm about to end it here. You talk about I talked about Stephen Curry was talking to Obama in this particular video, and he asked him, so what's next? We did all the protests and everything, so what's next? So Obama told him, he said, keep an eye on Georgia. He said, watch what they're gonna do to Senate. He said, Biden and Kamala Harris, they got to get control of the Senate and so they can be able to do some of the things that they need to do. That's why they're so avid on us about going out here voting for Ossoff and Warnock. So the Democrats can do something, but then you got so many people that's against them because of the abortion laws or gun control. People are mad about that. Some of the people I thought that was not Trump supporters, they straight up Like, man, I want my guns. They talking about taxing on my guns. They talking about taxing on the bullets, all this stuff. You know, they mad about that. That's why one of the reasons why they don't want Biden in office, because of all these different things, the gun laws, all this. So people talk about it's going to be a civil war, all this stuff, man. So racism is embedded, but it's the curse of our society, man. And that's the thing. I'm going to get out here and vote. And I pray to God that what's the name of them, get in office, the Democrats get control of the seat, and let's try to take this thing to the legislature and keep voting and get the right people in the system so some of these laws can change. And that's just my take on it.
Exactly. Now we have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Ryan. Sorry I'm late.
Hey, Christopher.
From Wilmington, Delaware. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, we asking a question. We're gonna go into our third square, and before we go to the third square, I want to ask you this question, man: Is there racism in sports? What do you say to that?
Is there racism in sports?
Yes.
I believe there is, but you think about sports as a business, right? And when you think about the business of sports, when it comes to money, people sometimes they're not as particular about race as they ought to be. You think about all the stuff that Jackie Robinson and all those guys went through, and once it became advantageous for the black man to play ball and make money for people, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter now as long as we're being entertained by him. But it's there,
Yeah.
It's not just as blatant as it is when you go in to look for $5 an hour job. You know what I'm saying?
Good deal.
But
it is there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is.
Okay. Now we're about to go into our third square. We're about to go into our third square. So as a matter of fact, Sheed, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm sitting here shocked. I can't believe we're making it to a third square and it's 9:02. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, we rolling tonight, man. Hey, and this rolling. this next square, and it is maybe a little comical, but think about it for a second. What I'm about to say, and I want to hear your heart on it. I see Rico is kind of shaking his head over there. So, should marriage license have an expiration date like driver's license? Should marriage license have an expiration date like driver's license? When you get your driver's license, they give you a driver's license sometime for 4 years, and then you have to go back and you have to redo your driver's license, or is it going to expire and it's not going to be any good? So should marriage license have an expiration date like driver's license? What do you say to that?
You might want to go to somebody else, man.
Huh?
I'm not gonna find the comedy in that question right there.
No.
I'm so
there's no.
I am so passionate about marriage too. That of course the answer is obvious. I know you're looking for some comedy with this.
No.
I'm gonna come with so much seriousness.
No. I say the question.
I don't want to ruin the square.
Okay, listen to me. I'm saying the question may come off as comical, but it's a serious question. It's a very serious question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think we need to be strong in the grace that God has given us. His grace, His strength. The divine influence upon our heart and its reflection in the life. That's something that we need to be strong in. God gives us strength. And so there are too many marriages, man, that end prematurely.
Yeah.
And prematurely is before death. Because marriages, the intent is for husband and wife to be together until death.
Come on.
But we have so many marriages that end in divorce, and they end in divorce for so many crazy reasons, man. irreconcilable differences is a joke now. You know, that you go to the courthouse, they're passing out divorce like candy.
Yeah.
The people are getting divorces left and right, and soon as we hit a snare, every little problem, then we run into divorce court. We need to have more strength.
Yeah.
We need to have more strength to endure, to persevere, to stick together, to get to know each other, to love each other through some of this stuff that we're dealing with. You know, I have so much passion about marriage because I think the erosion of marriage is one of the main things that has directly led to the erosion of society.
Yes, it is.
Because I think the family unit is the foundation of society.
Yes.
And the devil has attacked families. It starts with marriage. And that's why we're in the position that we're in right now. So I know there's a whole lot of people who will jump on that bandwagon and say, yeah, marriage licenses should have an expiration date. And not thinking about the consequences of that, not thinking about the repercussions of us feeling like we shouldn't treat marriage like going steady.
Come on.
You know, when you have a girlfriend, that's one level different. That's cute. But by the time you get married, you're making a covenant before God about this woman. And don't get me wrong. I divorced back in 2004. But let me tell you, I regret it. I'm gonna tell you flat out. And my wife right now knows it. That is one of the decisions that I made that I feel like I was weak for making that decision. I think that was a soft, punk out thing to do. Instead of loving my wife through our issues, I decided to bail out and quit. And I'm raising my hand right now as just because I got divorced, don't mean that I can't hate divorce. Because I look back on what I did, and I hate that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything that God hates, I hate.
Good deal.
God hates divorce.
Absolutely.
God hates the putting away. The scripture says that he hates it. And so therefore I hate it. And there's a reason why he hates it. And that's the same reason why I hate it, man. I mean, the covenant breaking, we don't take it serious enough. This ain't like driving. I feel funny putting marriage in the same category as driving.
Let me say something. Good deal.
I told you shouldn't have came to me, man. You talking about
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Let me say something.
Now I get the good deal.
Look at man. It'll be 12:30, man. It'll be 12:30. It'll be 12:30, brother. It'll be 12:30. But listen, let me go.
We try to get to a four square. Huh?
Exactly. Let me go to Christopher. Christopher, what's on your heart? Should marriage license expire like driver's license?
I was thinking about the fact that a lot of things.
Hey, Christopher, talk directly into your phone, brother. You're just a little bit low. Talk directly into your phone for me.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
All right. I said a lot of things that have licenses we have to renew. Your driver's license, or registration license, your business licenses. You have to renew them like every year.
Yes.
So when you were talking about this, and I was thinking, it would be nice to have marriage, couples renew their license. You know what I'm saying? I do my vow renewal and stuff like that. But in the sense that you got to go to inspection, check this thing out, is this thing working? Do we have a problem that we need to fix? Like, if you can do that on a regular basis.
Or do we even need counseling?
To find out.
Or do we need counseling?
Yeah. Into the problem, like if your car lights are not working and your brakes are not working and you go for inspection, you're going to fail the inspection. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great idea if we're going to make it like, okay, you guys have been married for 2 years. Now it's time to go for license renewal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Let's check out if this thing is working, you know?
Exactly.
Because sometimes people have a problem that they don't take time to deal with, you know? You learn to live with it. Nobody asks you, how you doing? How you guys doing? And sometimes people get to the point that I'm tired of this, I'm walking away, you know? But if we had some accountability, which is what I'm thinking about, if I was held accountable for my actions in my marriage, that there's somebody that's really checking me out, you know? Maybe I'll be a little more responsible. Maybe I'll be a little more upfront to make sure, well, I'm going for renewal in 2 weeks. I gotta make sure everything is fine, you know? So I think it's a great idea, you know, Brian.
Good deal. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Again, 678-381-1973. We love to have your input. Give us a call. And what we're talking about right now is, should marriage license have an expiration date like driver's license? Driver's license have an expiration date. So should marriage license have the same thing? Give us a call. 678-381-1973. We'd love to hear from you. Sister Grace, what do you say to that?
Marriage should not have an expiration date. It is so very sad that we only represent 12% of the population, but 75% of all African American marriages fail. We have the highest rate of any other ethnic group in this country. Okay. What does that tell you? There is something wrong.
Yeah.
One thing that's wrong is, slavery did not erase the mindset. Okay. It erased a lot of things, but not the mindset. When you look at our culture, there are certain things that we do that they still do in Africa. I spent some years there and I know what I'm talking about. I didn't have any problem assimilating because this was the base level, okay? And I understood a lot of things about our culture after having been living there. My point is this: usually, and not always, I want to point that out very clearly, not always. Usually, the man takes the lady for granted. It's all right for him to go away to the war and stay 10 to 12 years and then comes home, you know, or even not in the war and leaves his wife and family, and he goes until he stays somewhere. He does the prodigal son game, okay? And he comes home and he wants full honor as a man, and he has not accepted his responsibility before the Lord to do what he was supposed to do, but he wants to be honored. You see? And that comes from that African culture. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, now, okay, fine. Issue is they have a tribalistic, and we suffer from a sophisticated form of tribalism in our culture today. We do. And that's what's the matter with us, okay? It's true. Okay. They war among themselves, but by the same token, they take the woman for granted. In Africa, the woman's position is that of responsibility.
Yes.
The man wants respect. She has the responsibility. And he has all these 15 wives. Not so much today as it used to be a long time ago. 15, 20, sometimes 40 wives, okay? And they're responsible to him. See, that didn't change the mindset when they came to this country. So right after slavery, they say, okay, we are going back to the way we used to live in Africa in our minds, and we're going to manifest it in our culture. And that's exactly what happened. Okay, the poor lady is struggling to raise these children the way we were talking about earlier in this program, and she has had to bear the brunt of responsibility. No respect, no honor, no help, no nothing, just zeros. Okay, fine.
Good deal.
But he has not given up his position in his mind as to where he wants to be. I am king. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And I want you to honor me. So when the children look at this and they say, okay, mama, we think, excuse me, you ought to take daddy back. Well, wait just a moment now. Where was daddy when you needed all these things, when you entered school and everything? Where on earth was he? He was somewhere enjoying himself, okay? But when he gets old, broke, dependent, and sick, here he comes, but he wants that same honor that he had in the beginning. You understand what I'm saying? That's why it's not working. He doesn't bring home any money. He doesn't bring home any strength, no wealth, no nothing. He brings home dependence. And so he wants the lady, because she was the legal wife, to take care of him. And some of them are crazy enough to do it. You understand what I'm saying? But hey, look, if God left us, where on earth would we be? He is the Father, and He takes care of us. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
My point is, marriage should not have an expiration date, but I don't have to tell you, when you look at our culture, what we need to do to get it together.
Exactly.
And it's only getting worse to the point that women are electing to have babies without marrying because they don't want to go through the responsibility of taking care of him, the children, the house. You see, she has a full-time job as a wife and a mother.
Okay. Wrap it up for me, Miss Grace.
He comes home and just gets his iced tea and lemonade in his reclining chair while she's starting her second shift after having worked all day.
Wow, good deal. I want to pull some more people into the conversation, Miss Grace. Hold for 1 second, Pete. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? Should a marriage license have an expiration date like a driver's license, Brother Pete? What do you say to that?
Mad respect and appreciation and gratitude for our dear sister who spoke before me. And I noticed that she kept saying marriage should not have an expiration date. And I agree. Not the marriage license. The marriage license, in essence, is a contractual agreement between the two parties who come together in the state. It really has no bearing on the matrimonial relationship between two individuals who want to become one. So the marriage license, with full knowledge and background and over understanding of the subject matter, shouldn't exist at all. It really has nothing to do with the parties being together, but the marriage, the union of two, and the vows, the oaths that you take, in the audience that you take them, we should definitely understand that's serious. Right up next to being, a preacher over souls, and it's not something to be taken for granted or neglected or taken lightly. With all the ramifications of what two coming together, being one, and having children, and like my dear brother was saying, that's the basis of a community. Which makes position. So we definitely two coming together. And different cultures have different belief systems, but in this country, pretty much it's one man, one woman for the most part. We have some exceptions. Let me allow any exceptions, but for the most part, one for one. And that's what is working over here. So why are we abandoning that? And then what comes from? The brother was talking about earlier, being out of place. I mean, what good comes from it? Unless something is really, really wrong there. What good comes from when we break these bonds?
Exactly. That's good.
But marriage license, real quick, in 10 seconds, no. We shouldn't even have one when you understand what a marriage license is.
Yeah, exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Everybody mute your line for me. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Should a marriage license have an expiration date? Much like you try every 4 years, you got to renew your driver's license now. You got to renew that thing, or otherwise you'll be driving illegally. Should a marriage license be renewed?
Well, you know what? I know some people that probably wish they did. I know some people that probably wish they did. So on the comedic side, and for some people that, you know, has been in regretful marriages and can look back and laugh at it right now, they might say, yeah, knowing, you know, it can't happen. But you know, that would be something. I ain't gonna lie. If it did happen, I probably would have tried it myself a couple of times. A couple of dry runs. if you could do it, I get after 4 years of suspended ain't no good no more, baby. Go about your business. But that's definitely something that can't happen because it would make it would have more of a consequence on the family, furthermore the children of that family, you know. So I mean, like somebody said earlier about the community, you know, that's the backbone, the foundation. I love what Gracie brought up about the divorce rates. You know, I'm pretty sure this is definitely something that's eye-opening to her, coming from a generation she came from, seeing majority of families having a mother and father in the same household. Now it's common that it's not.
Yeah.
That's a big swing, man. I mean, that's a change in trends that happen very fast. And so we see the consequence behind that. You know, we see the consequence behind people getting married and they shouldn't have got married, getting married for the wrong reason. If anything, it should be harder to get a divorce.
Yeah.
That way you would think more carefully about getting married. What if they said once you get married, well, you couldn't get a divorce? You really was there till death do you part. Imagine how many people would sit back and take their time.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it would be good. I know you got to get to the next square. That definitely wouldn't be a good move.
Or if it's to death do you part, a lot of people would second guess it, wouldn't do it, or simply kill each other.
Kill each other, you know what I'm saying? The insurance policies will go up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the, you know, I say it to be funny, but that's a sad reality, man. You know, you never know, because if it's to death do you part and you with somebody that you don't want to be with until you lay down, take your last breath. People gonna make desperation brings out. Leonard, what's on your heart? What do you say to it, Leonard?
Well, you know, I've been married, so I don't have a problem with it. But one thing I'm against is that's a violation of a human right. So you know, I don't get into this, that, or the other. I'm concerned about one marriage, and that's mine. What other people choose to do with their lives is their choice. You see what situation you in. You see how it is wound up. God, it will not be mocked. You can do what you want to do, but you will suffer those consequences. I'm not one to force I'm not going to have a white master, nor will I tolerate a black one. You will not intervene into my ability to be free. Period. I don't need you. I don't need your comment. I don't need your opinion about my marriage. I don't need none of that. Let me do what I will do and what I will choose. I don't care if 90% of black marriages end in divorce. You understand? I got one marriage to be responsible for. And that's mine. If women valued marriage, they would change how they behave.
So you think it's mishap in the value system in regards to
No. It's not a mishap in no system whatsoever. It's a choice to not be committed to another person. It's a lack of discipline and it's a lack of commitment. It's no one's fault but the two parties involved. So I don't look at somebody else's marriage and decide how I'm going to treat my wife.
But my and let's get back to this question. I want to go to Cornelius as well and get his take before we get to our fourth square. Marriage, the expiration date. The expiration date. So basically what I'm hearing you say is, just for the clarity for myself and the listeners, you don't think that it should have an expiration date?
No, it wouldn't make sense. And lawfully, it wouldn't make sense.
Okay. And like if I ask you another question on this, it's gonna be 30 more minutes, man, because we this is the time where me and you'll go back and forth with it and we'll have that discussion. But let me get Cornelius involved. Cornelius, what do you say to that, man? Should marriage have an expiration date, like a marriage license, like driver's license?
What I'm about to say, I know you probably gonna be like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say it. Yes. I'm gonna tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Now listen to this. I'm going straight to scripture.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start from verse 9. Mm-hmm. Watch this. Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of thy life, of that vanity which he hath given thee under the sun, all the days of that vanity, for that is the portion in this life, and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might, for there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest. So the reason why I say yes, until the day you die, that's when it expires.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever wife that you marry, live joyfully with her, stay with her, but that marriage license expires until you close your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say yes.
Okay. So you took a little spin on us right there. So basically, you're saying that there is no expiration date because you have to stay married, have to stay with that person until the day that you die. So, in all actuality, and for the clarity of the babes in Christ, he's saying yes, but that is based upon the day that you die. You can't have an expiration date. Okay. She, talk to me, brother. 4 minutes. She, I'm about to say it. She'd wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep.
Hey, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. All right. What's on your heart, She?
Okay. Hey, step out. Yeah, I don't know if I can expound upon it any further, man.
Yeah.
Marriage is the cornerstone of our society.
Mm-hmm.
It is a union that is contrived by God. That is God's union.
Yeah.
We have a marriage license, but I agree with what the brother said. That really has very little to do, actually, absolutely nothing to do with the institution of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That marriage is between you, your wife, and God. You make a vow before God about this woman that you're gonna honor her, cherish her, respect her, be faithful to her, be with her as one for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so a state license can't do anything with that. But the reason I say that it shouldn't be an expiration is because, listen, can you imagine if marriage licenses were treated like driver's licenses and that they expired after a certain while, and if you got an issue with your wife, you'll use that as an excuse not to get that license renewed. So it'll be people not necessarily divorced, but not necessarily walking out the covenant either, because we are reducing marriage to what the state said rather than to what God said. Man, forget the state. Forget the state, man. My marriage ain't got nothing to do with that. My marriage is about God. And if we need to make sure that we are a people who honors God. And when we honor God, then we will honor his union. We will honor this marriage that has been contrived by him. He makes the rules.
Good deal.
He designed it. He originated it. He lets us know how it's supposed to go. The state does not. The state is trying to regulate something that they ain't got nothing to do with. The state really just wants your money. But see, God wants your commitment.
Exactly.
Don't you gotta pay for a marriage license?
Yes.
trying to make money off of marriage licenses. All these licenses we got to pay for.
Yeah,
man, forget that. We need to make sure that we give our all and our sacrifice onto the Lord, and that's the thing that's going to hold these marriages together. If we are committed to Him, and then in turn we'll be committed to our spouses, so we won't have to worry about expiration until it's time for us to expire. Like my brother Cornelius said, the expiration date is the expiration date.
Yeah, exactly. Minister Neil,
exactly.
Minister Neil, we're asking a question, and we got actually 1 minute before we go to our next square. But should our marriage license have an expiration date like a driver's license?
No. Well, who would say that? I mean, I think it. I mean, when you take your vows, one of the vows is to death do us part.
Yeah.
So there you have it. So,
there you have it.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Also,
yeah, that's a little different. Huh? Somebody got something they want to say real quick?
Yeah, I was in the Minister Neil because I feel about like Minister Neil, and people. I always caution people. Remember, you're Christians. You have holy matrimony. That is different than regular marriage. I know y'all like to put them together, but holy matrimony is a sacrament given by the church, and it's usually supposed to be between two baptized believers in Christ.
Yeah.
That's holy matrimony. Everything else is marriage through the state. You don't have to go to church to be married. You don't have to be a Christian to be married. And just a thought, think about this. Someone else reviewing your marriage. That's disgusting. That someone else, you would even allow someone else to be even more disgusting than when whites determine who you would marry as a slave.
Wow.
That's how sick I think that is.
Let's go to our fourth square. And we talked about racism in sports. Now I want to ask y'all the question. And who am I going to go to first? Let me go to Pete. Pete, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We talked about racism in sports and whether or not there is racism in sports. And I think everybody came to the conclusion that yes, there is. But is there racism in our own community amongst ourselves? Colorism. Let's talk about colorism.
Yes, sir. We have issues with the different pigment, eye color, hair color. Are you down 100%? Are you a half breed? But we want to understand that when we talk about racism, and specifically in America, we want to understand that what it was and what it is. There may be some real issues. I just don't like you. Okay, I don't like your color, your attributes, your characteristics, your traits. I don't like you. Okay, but the real foundation of the concept of racism in this country was based off of power and economics. Social engineering, social structure. It was not so much the concern of this or that, naturally speaking. It was really a game that was being ran down, a scam and a scheme to control the masses and for a select few to make sure they had the wealth and the power. Now, through all of that, we've gotten to some issues of where I just might not like you because of you and who you are and your characteristic traits. But, we want to keep that in mind when we deal with racism, because every aspect of racism in this country is more so about power, is more so about economics, is more so about ownership, control, privilege, not so much about I just don't like you. Okay. So the formal question was, again, do we have racism amongst ourselves?
Yes.
I would say to some degrees and in various areas, yes, we do experience the older generations, let's say those that would be 90, 100, probably 100 at this point and older, they were definitely color struck. They dealt with color issues. If you were lighter, you were preferred more. If you were darker, you were pushed aside more. And that was a reality in their life. Now, that might not be so prevalent that we are aware of it like it was back then, colored only, and, you know, Jim Crow, those type of things being just up and every day in your face law and rule structure that you had to live up under. Still today, if a dark-skinned man is walking down the street, opposed to a light-skinned man walking down the street, you know, who's going to get the snide looks? Who do we assume or believe or experience actually gets the looks of, oh, watch him, oh, what are you up to? You know, you keep turning your head back.
Yeah.
But, you know, this light-skinned guy walking past, you might look at him once or twice if he's not too close and don't pay him any more attention. So it does still exist. You know, it does. We still hear the vestiges, your dark self.
Yeah.
You know, you so dark, your hair so nappy. You know, it's those little tidbits.
Yeah.
So yes, we do have those some racist issues amongst ourselves that we had to deal with. And leaving out just exiting my statement. 99.9, if not 8% of the so-called Black, colored, Negro, African American folk in this country need mental health attention from growing up in this society.
Wow. Leonard, what do you say to that? Is there colorism in our community?
Yes. Did you say colorism as it refers to the shade of skin?
Is there racism against each other based on color in our own community? Colorism.
Well, I'm not really sure. It's a personal choice thing for me. So you should have what you like. I mean, I don't get into judging other person's choice. Your choice of who you associate with and sleep with and make babies with is fundamental to your human rights. So that's not something that I would.
Do we discriminate against each other even in our own community?
No, I don't think it's discrimination. You have to separate that from discrimination as it relates to being a professional and employment and things of that nature. You don't really discriminate at the personal level, really. You have prejudice and choices. You know, you have prejudices maybe about certain things. We have some of these outspoken rappers have pretty much come out and said things, and then when they go in and explain it, I'm fine with it because that's them. If a brother say I only like light-skinned women, that's his business. I don't care. I really don't, because I mean that has nothing to do with me. That's his choice. He should have that choice if that's what he would like. As simple as he may be, you know, you just see he wasn't all that intelligent or smart anyway. So those choices that people make on their own personal level for their own satisfaction and benefit, that's the freedom you should have.
Okay. That's your opinion, and I'll let you go with it. Minister Neal, what do you say to that, man? Is there colorism in our own community?
I don't know, because honestly, I was listening to Lennon. I listened to their brother that went before him. I think he kind of summed it up as that a lot of it has to do with the classes in itself. Because I deal with more of from an educational standpoint of it, and I see how a lot of us treat each other who has formal education, who doesn't have formal education, and so I'm not going to really say that it has to do with the skin color. With that, that's why I said that's a little vague. So, but for me, I've always and I said that because of the world I work in, and I see when you see certain people come in, and I mean, just like I can give you a prime example. This is a young lady who came in, and she's very intelligent, very very intelligent woman, and she thought that she was going to be trained by a white girl, and she was shocked when they kept saying that it was going to be me.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Well, I thought you had to have a degree to run this machine." I said, honey, I'm a proud graduate of the Florida A&M. You talking about a class of 1994, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Hey, I said, everybody know I wave my Florida A&M flag all the time. So again, I was stunned because when she said it, I had to go back to her. So when the other girls were like, no, this is your senior tech. This is the man he's not going to be in his position unless he has the credentials. But again, that goes back to what I'm talking about. That's why I said I don't think it was more of my skin. It was more of my demeanor. Because people think, like people who see me, that they don't know what kind of work I do. You got to think, when you saw me, and even when Lenny has been around me, no one knew what kind of work I did.
Yeah.
Because I never came off that kind of weight. But once you sit down with me and understand and get the talker to me, then he's like, oh, okay, I get it now. And again, that's why I was like, wow, I couldn't believe that she said that. She was like, when she said it, it kind of like went on top of my head for me. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, honey. What the Florida A&M University?
Yeah.
I went to the proud, talking to proud alumnus of Florida A&M University.
But see, there was such a level of disrespect in that comment that she made, though. There was a huge level.
I think it was more of an assumption. And I'm gonna say that to you because I don't treat the ones who was running the prison no different than I do the people who was gathering the samples. You understand what I'm saying? See, with me, it doesn't matter. I think your job is just as important as my job because I can't get the samples if you don't gather them up first. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even to the point that I even go back there when I got injured, I was back there helping them get the samples off the truck. I didn't have to do that. But I did that because they needed help. That's the kind of, that's how I work. Because I saw a need, and my need is to help. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna belittle them because I feel like their job is just as important as my job. Because at the end of the day, it's like a chain. Everybody got to move together. Exactly. If you're not working together, it's not gonna work. So well, her thing was that she felt like, oh, well, they told me this is the only thing I'm supposed to do. But honey, if you have that kind of attitude, you're never going to get number so far.
That's good. That's good.
You're not going to get number so far because you can't. Because if you don't go beyond and say, hey, and show people that you're a go-getter. When we were talking about that being a hustler, that's what I was talking about. Sometimes you got to hustle around just to let people see, well, hey, he can do more than just stand here and push buttons. That's all we did was sit there and push buttons. You don't take no rocket science to do that. You know how many times I would sneak them people over there and show them how to work the machines? I said, this alarm going right over the bathroom, hit this button. Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Rico, what do you say to that? Is there colorism in our community?
That's just like you said with the question about racism in football, man. It's deep rooted. We have all kind of biases in our community through class, wealth, financial, education. Long hair, short hair, curly hair, nappy hair, super dark skin, what they call blue, black, super yellow, high yellow, red. You know what I'm saying? You hear it a lot of times, like Buddy said earlier, they say, your old black butter, that high yellow heifer. You know, you done heard all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? People don't say it, and it lets you know that that's the category that they're putting you in. And so, you know, we stereotype, judged. That really is rooted in competition. That's really what is rooted in competition. Somebody want to be better than the next, especially with our history. You know, I guess what it is, the Willie Lynch letters, you know, they said that about having people work for the crumbs and have them fighting over crumbs. And, you know, you think about it, that will have you separated, segregating yourself, discriminating against your own people because you're competing for the crumbs. You're competing to be the top of the bottom of the total code.
Hey, we got a fella that just joined us, y'all. We got a fella. He's late for the day, but early for tomorrow. He's late for the day, but early for tomorrow. And I'm glad he's here. Donald Toussaint, what's going on, sir?
I just called to say hello. That's about it. I ain't got no comment about that.
I hear you, man. Listen, is there colorism in our community? Donald?
I think the brother said he didn't want to comment about nothing. I thought that's what
you heard. Did you? You didn't hear me.
I ain't heard. I ain't heard.
He must not have heard you, Tucson.
I ain't heard.
How you doing, Tucson?
You wasn't listening.
I ain't heard nothing. I ain't heard nothing he said. Now, is there colorism in that? Is there interior discrimination in our own community?
But you know what? Let me say this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really the shade of a person.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest division in our community is male female.
Mm.
You can forget the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got to fight.
Wow.
It's just me.
You might have a point.
Everybody want to be in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides think God has changed his mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
And he have not.
No.
Exactly. So
no, because they feel like men ain't gonna stand up. Well, God said, well, since men ain't gonna stand up, then hey, well, let me call the women.
Mm.
Okay, I ain't got nothing else to say.
See, you said that when you called in, you don't talk 10 minutes though, brother.
Well, there it is.
There it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sister Grace, what do you say to that? Is there colorism in our community?
Yes. And up until the early 1960s,
mm-hmm.
All of the light-skinned girls got the better parts in plays. If they had long hair, it was a given.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, up until James Brown said "Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud," then all of the HBCUs, historical black colleges and universities, switched from white to black. Okay,
mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happened. I was in grad school during that period of time, and excuse me, they even dyed the flowers black. You ever seen a black flower?
No.
They dyed the flowers black in the homecoming parade. Okay,
mm-hmm.
The queen was black. Everything was black because it was an awareness that, hey, look, black is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is our heritage. This is where we came from. But up until that time, then there was tension, hatred, betrayal, all the way from slavery. The lighter people got the chance to work in the houses. You understand what I'm saying? The darker ones worked in the fields.
Mm-hmm.
See? So it's been intertwined so much that it wasn't even, it was just so much a part of our culture that it was completely accepted.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you used to hear people say, well, this person is high yellow.
Mm-hmm.
This person is a messed up piece of yellow. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so my point is, all of that has been erased, and that's good because we are all people.
Mm-hmm.
We are a rainbow.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Absolutely.
We come in statistically slated 40 million different shades of ebony. Okay,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
40 million.
Exactly.
That's a lot of different colors.
That's a lot of colors.
So that's a lot of colors because we don't have actually 40 million people left now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the issue is we have that many shades of ebony.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it was an awareness. Everything went to the lighter slaves,
mm-hmm.
even up until, as I said, the 1960s. That's simply the way it was. But then there was a shift, a complete reversal. You see that, hey, look, we are really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We are desirable.
Yeah.
And so the mindset changed, and that is very good because
mm-hmm.
when you look at us today, when you look at movies, when you look at any form of entertainment, then you see that that beauty that flows like a rainbow. It floats like kites in the sky.
Absolutely.
You see what
Good.
I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
yes, ma'am.
Yes, there is
Colorism.
still
Yes, ma'am.
a few of those people who are left, who say, okay, they want this kind of person, they want that kind of person with this color, that color. Yeah. Most of them are glad for any color that they can get if it's the right, if the person is right. That's all I'm
Good deal.
say.
Good deal. Let me go to Christopher. Christopher, let me ask you this question. You're actually I'm from Africa, and I want to ask you the question from that standpoint: is there colorism in Africa?
Wow.
Unfortunately, that's not our experience. You know? Our experience is more of tribalism. We discriminate a lot based on tribe. You know, so we have more problem of tribalism. You know, you're Yoruba, you're Hausa, you're Igbo, and I'm always gonna defer to what I'm familiar with. You know? With the tribe I'm familiar with is what I'm gonna defer to.
Yeah.
But I think we're whether it's racism or colorism, when man defines himself by the outward appearance and not by the content of his spirit, we always gonna have preference. You know, and that's a human problem that we have because we don't see each other correctly. We judge by sight. We look by sight. We make decisions based on what we see. And anytime we make decisions based on what we see, then we're gonna have preference. And whether it's racism or colorism or tribalism, it's just that it's what my flesh is. It loves and what my flesh is more familiar with. You know. So in all the conversation, until we learn to see people correctly, we gotta keep having this problem that we have.
Exactly.
You know,
Sheed, what do you say? What do you say to that, brother? Is there colorism in our community?
Yeah, man. I'm chewing it all in, man. You know, my sister, Miss Gracie, man. He said we have
Lord.
He said we have 40 million shades.
We do. 40 million different shades.
And we don't even have 40 million people.
Yeah, 40 million people.
Man,
that's right.
That was hilarious to me, man.
Yeah.
I immediately looked over to my son's crayon box, 64 crayon colors.
Yeah.
But compared to 40 million, that was phenomenal, man.
Yes.
I agree with what the first brother said. I think it was Brother Pete, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I think he hit the nail on the head, Raheem. You could have ended the topic with his comment. Because he said a lot of good things. He touched on a lot of things that's so true and prevalent in the African American community. I think it's psychological at this point, man. I mean, you know, you can see it in children. You can see the preferential treatment, and you can actually do a study. You could do your own little individual study, just comparing people and seeing how light-skinned people are treated versus how black-skinned people are treated. I mean, dark-skinned people are treated. You can look at the preferences. You can look at the privileges that they enjoy and things like that. And it's simply because of perception. It's just strictly based upon an image that's more pleasant to some people than others. And, you know, in our community, a lot of times dark-skinned people tend to have to, you know, go through certain hoops that light-skinned people may or may not have to go through. But then it's the same thing the other way around. You know, sometimes there's some discrimination among us for light-skinned people because we tend to think that they're better than, or they think that they're better than. There's there can be an arrogance about it. There's so many different angles and issues that we can discuss that create what it produces is complexes. It produces psychological issues that we have. So I forget who said it. Man, we really need some good old counseling, man.
Yes, sir.
And bring some healing, some internal healing, because we got so many different areas that we probably don't even recognize. That we experience. We don't. Most of the biases that we have, we probably don't even recognize, because we're living in this corrupt society that shapes a lot of our thought processes and a lot of how we see things and our perceptions, because of what we're constantly inundated with all of the images and the opinions that are thrust upon us by society, by the media, by entertainment, by all of these things that we are constantly involved in from the time that we're babies, man. And we become an adult, and then you would be surprised at the biases that you're guilty of when you're faced with it.
Exactly.
You know, and sometimes so many things can go through your mind just by looking at someone. You know, I love what Chris said. We gotta make sure that we don't judge from the outward appearance, but from the inward appearance. But man, we really have to be in tune with the Lord and in tune with our spirit to be able to do that. That takes a discipline, and we really have to be very deliberate in ignoring certain things that people try to push upon us as value.
Good deal.
We have to be deliberate with not only ignoring it ourselves, but we have to be deliberate with teaching our children to ignore it.
Good deal.
We can't shelter them from what they're gonna inevitably be exposed to within society. They're going to be exposed to it. So that's a tough task in and of itself, to teach them about the rights and the wrongs of those things. But man, to completely have a pure mindset about colorism and about racism, there has to be a deliberate effort to make sure that we ward out all of the corruption that we're constantly inundated with. Otherwise, we're going to have to deal with the psychological damage that it causes, and it's inevitable.
Good deal.
Through Christ.
Go ahead. Go wrap it up. I gotta
get the good deal again.
Yes, sir. I gotta hit Cornelius.
I think that's a record. I think I got a good deal for every square today. So I'm actually proud of that.
Lord, look.
Through final statement, through Christ we can overcome.
Good deal. Cornelius.
No, I said differently. Through Christ we have overcome. I'll put it that way.
Cornelius, what do you say to that? Is colorism in our community?
You know, I'm laughing at you. You got me over cracking up. Hey man, let me say this.
Every square.
Cornelius.
I know, Doc.
Cornelius.
Hey, I thought my man that came in. I thought Tucson was gonna get a good deal, but he kept pulling on him. I said, but Tucson ended his short, so I was laughing. But no, let me go get my soliloquy out the way. So, you know, when P had said something earlier, I was just gonna try to come up with something and just say. But you know, when P had said, he hit it, man, and it took me back instantly. I mean, to my childhood, what Pete said, instantly my conscience went back to how I was growing up. And I've experienced racism more in my own community than I have done from the whites. Why do I say that? Because I'm dark-skinned. I'm a dark-skinned brother. Those that know me have never seen me. I'm dark-skinned. So in that, when I was a kid, man, I was trying to holler at these girls. I like these girls. But the girls shut me down because I was dark-skinned. So I remember going home to my mama crying like, Mom, these girls said, they tell me, you too black. You too dark.
Wesley and it hurt me.
Wesley Snipes helped us with that one, brother.
Yeah,
Wesley, he
exactly. You too.
Just a little bit.
Lord, my Jesus.
Yeah, man. And I was just like, I was hurt, cut to the core. But my mama would tell me, remember the old saying, blacker the berry, sweeter the juice. Mm-hmm. They will always teach. They teach you that the old school way, and that to encourage me to build up my confidence. But then I kept getting it, going and experiencing all these things to the point that where I said, you know what? I'd rather start dating white women because they seem like they're more considerate than our own sisters towards black men. That was my preference. Mm-hmm. Things started going wrong in my mind like that. So, and I was just like, man, I started looking at different other cultures, from Japanese to China. I said, other women from different cultures know how to treat a black man better than their own sisters do. That's what was bothering me throughout the years in my mentality. So, and it was only through Christ that changed that, like she had ended up with. And to the point that where I said I had to shift my way of thinking. My wife is a black woman, brown skin, and she always called me her chocolate teddy bear. That's my name for her. Mm-hmm. So, and it's one of those things that, man, you like, okay. And one young lady I liked, she was real light skinned. I started switching to light skinned girls. I wanted the light skinned girls. I started building my own prejudice because I was rejected from my own community as a dark skinned brother. So it's one of those things that where we got to be healed. And even with the African community, these folks out here, there's one African guy that I work here with. I said, what's up, my brother? You ain't my brother? He goes off because a lot of the Africans that's come from over us, from there, they believe that we as a black people that grew up in America are ignorant. They don't think we're smart enough. And they don't be, because we didn't come from there. So all these different things that we got, and like my brother said, I'm sorry, but
you about to get a good deal,
I'm about
brother.
to end it, but yeah, it's just one of those things, man. I'm kind of, into that, but I just wanted to say that little piece, man. You kind of messed me up, but it's all good.
No, it's good deal. There you go. It's 10:01. I'm gonna go around and give everybody 30 seconds. Everybody, boy, I'll tell y'all the truth. I'm gonna give everybody 30 seconds to say what they want to say in their closing. 30 seconds. 30 seconds is what I'm giving. Sister Grace, ladies are first. What would you like to say in your closing? 30 minutes, ma'am.
It's been good to hear the comments from the men tonight, because this helps us as ladies on how you feel about things. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And I've just appreciated that, and I think we need another discussion on this.
Absolutely.
And I think that pretty much takes up my 30 seconds. I don't want to overdo it. Thank
there
you,
you go. I appreciate you. Donald, 30 seconds, brother, in your closing.
I can laugh for 3. Look, I'm gonna say something my dad said. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You ought to listen twice as much as you talk.
That's good.
You can have the rest of the thing.
There you go. Christopher, 30 seconds, sir.
Always a pleasure being with you guys.
Pleasure having you, sir.
I just want to say that, one of the biggest lessons that we can learn from this conversation is that we need to learn to appreciate each other more based on who we are on the inside than who we are on the outside. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Brother Pete, in your closing, sir.
Power to the people. Let go of all the superficiality and the foolishness. Love yourself, submit yourself to truth, and continue forward strong.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, in your closing, sir.
Man, thank you for everybody. Thank you to everybody for having another good week of conversation. I hope everybody have a good rest of the week. See y'all tomorrow morning, and bless everybody, man.
Good deal. Good deal. Leonard, in your closing.
Pleasure to be on the call tonight. Listen to different, different viewpoints and what have you. And people should listen to your insides. Live from the inside out. Stop letting people dictate to you how you should be, what you should be doing, and all these other things. Trust God and live the life that He gave you. Be free. Pursue happiness. live, love.
Good deal.
Do what it is that makes you feel good.
In your closing.
Jesus loves all the children of the world. Yellow, black, brown, and white. We all are precious in his sight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got to make sure that we look on the inward and not the outward appearance. I totally agree with that. Having said all that, as I examine the video footage of real men being men, we probably need to recruit some more light-skinned brothers on the panel. I'm just saying. We have an abundance of dark-skinned people on the panel, and I'm wondering, if we could get more light-skinned brothers on the panel. That's all I'm saying.
What side of 30 seconds is that? What side of 30 seconds is that? Neil, in your closing. Neil, he tied up in that game. Well, Lord Jesus.
Oh, no, I wasn't. But again, it was a pleasure, man. I'm sorry I had to step away, but I got a important phone call. I had to take care of some things for somebody, but yeah, just somebody needed some prayer.
Sister Grace said 30 seconds now.
Someone needed some prayer, so I needed to step away. So I apologize. But again, hey, it was a pleasure. And again, bless you.
Exactly.
Continue to mask up. Everybody.
There you go.
Don't let them fool you. Mask up.
Christopher.
Yeah.
I'm coming to you for prayer, brother. Pray us out.
All right. Father, we thank you for your grace, your mercy. We thank you for your life in every one of us. We thank you for the sacrifice of your Son to deliver us from all that has held us bound. And I speak life and life more abundantly to every man, every woman that's listening. We declare your kingdom come and your will be done on earth in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 I thought Chris was about to do a 2-week prayer. I ain't know, man. Amen. I thought he was about to do a 2-week prayer. I didn't know. Rico, I didn't know, Rico. I didn't know. I wasn't sure, man. I wasn't sure, Rico.
Thank you.
I think he was being considerate of you, man. I think he was thinking
there
about
you go. It is now 10:06. I'm going to invite everybody to join us tomorrow for Way Out Wednesday on the Morning Glow from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on DKM Media Group and Associates. Make sure you join us tomorrow as Way Out Wednesday. What is that you asked? I'm so glad you asked. That's where y'all become the boss. You call in whatever's on your heart. We'll talk about it. And it's what, Rico? And it's what? Oh, Rico just hung up as soon as I said it to him. Talk about it in its entirety. So make sure you join us tomorrow if you get an opportunity from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on DKM Media Group and Associates. It is now 10:07. You're about to exit Real Men Being Men. But before you go, I want you to do me 2 favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number 2, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this out of you from the morning glow. From Real Men Being Men. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. You all have a great night. Go out there, find somebody. Give them some love. You just might find some love in return. You all have a great evening. Love you. And we will see you in the morning in Minyana. Have a great one. Take care of each other.
Bye.